Let's get started. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We have such a beautiful crowd here tonight. And of course we have Maggie Bloomfield with us, so exciting. You may have seen Maggie recently because she's been reading at our virtual poetry open mics for the past few weeks. And we're so happy to have a featured reading with her tonight. All right, and I'm gonna come back. Just one moment. Here's very slow day. Okay, there we go. Everything's working as planned, finally. Before we get started, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who's been donating for these programs. It means so much to us, and it allows us to have these virtual programs every single week as we have been. And it's been such a pleasure to see so many people. Even the smallest donations, $5 that you would spend on Starbucks, means multitudes to us. It really does. We recently reopened the Birthplace Museum in Huntington, New York, and we're happy to be receiving visitors again there. We are open every day of the week, so if you're in the area, definitely check that out and think about coming to see us in person again. And we have tours of the home that Walt Whitman was born in 201 years ago. But we also have, like I was saying, these virtual events every single week. And I just want to talk a little bit briefly about our upcoming events. We're going to have another event a week from today on Thursday. That one is going to be at 1 p.m., so it's a little different. Usually it's 6:30, but that one will be at 1 p.m. And it will be with Walt Whitman Birthplace Association Poet of the Year, Christina Rao. And she will be presenting yoga and meditation with some poetry, actually at the birthplace. So she'll have the birthplace behind her. She'll be outside for that event. It's going to be amazing and no experience necessary. So if you want to join, even if you just want to watch, learn a few new things, learn about some great breathing and meditation, definitely join us for that. All right, and then the following week on Thursday at 6 p.m., again, a little off from our 6:30, we will have the Long Island Poetry Collective joining us. And that will be 15 poets presenting one poem each. I think of it as a patchwork of poetry. I think it's going to be really exciting. So I hope that you join us for that. And we'll have Walt Whitman Birthplace Association board member Richard Bronson hosting it with us that night. And then the following week on Thursday, we will have Catherine Shea with us from Fairfax, California. And she's a very accomplished poet. You can check out some of her work on her website. And of course, if you go to our Facebook, you go to our website, or you sign up for our newsletter, you will get these, all of these events and all of the information so that you can pre-register just like you did for this event tonight. And again, these are all free events with the suggested donation. So thank you so much for being here. Without further ado, I want to introduce Maggie. And one second. I have a very slow computer today, so bear with me. Okay, there we go. And I will be sharing all the links that I'm mentioning here, and I'll be sharing links for Maggie's new book, Sleepless Nights, and also for Poetry Street, which she organizes. Okay, there we go. Maggie Bloomfield is a published award-winning writer, Emmy-winning lyricist for Sesame Street, and graduate of the MFA program at Stony Brook, Southampton. Her book of poetry, Trains of Thought, was published by Local Gems Press, and a new collection, Sleepless Nights, was recently released in May 2020, published by Finishing Line Press. Maggie and Susan Dingle performed their one-act play, Breakout, as part of the 2017 Long Island Fringe Festival, and Maggie's one act, the Dispatchment Society, was part of New York City's New Works Emerging Artist Festival in 2019. All right, I'm coming back. There we go. No issues that time. So thank you so much for being with us, Maggie. It's such a pleasure, and I'm so happy that we get to hear more tonight. And I'm going to give you the spotlight right now. There we go.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. for coming to these little rectangles tonight to hear me read. Thank you, Walt Whitman Birthplace. Thank you, Caitlin. I couldn't be more thrilled than to be in this place. It's a sacred place, really. I want to thank you. One person I want to thank before I even start, because she never gets thanked, is and she's not here, but it's my dear friend who designed the cover of my lovely book. Her name is Carol Towser. She was a costume designer in New York for years, and I just want to publicly say thank you to her. I'm a poet. I kind of work eclectically, so a lot of the poems I'm reading tonight are products of the world we used to live in, not the one we live in now. So I'm adding some new pieces to the mix that reflect our present cockamamie planet. My book is called Sleepless Nights. It was published by Finishing Line Press. It's available on Amazon or at www.finishinglinepress.com. Tonight we have a few surprises and possibly a few special guests. So my first poem is it's called Sex. I do it first because that title always gets attention, okay? And I want to say that it was published in a beautiful anthology called Grabbing the Apple as well, that was published by Terry Muse and Mary Jane Tenerelli. And here it is. Sex. Crabs mate face to face, claws entwined, eyes filled with the appearance of strong feeling. First, he dances on pointy little claws to lure the mature female onto her back, both having shed their skins at this point. Exposed, vulnerable, they clutch and buck and moan like lovers everywhere, the male peering brainlessly into Madame's eyes with some crustacean impulse of, I love her, or God, I want to pin her. While beneath him, she muses primordially, he's a terrible dancer, but I want to have his children. Okay, so thank you. You know, I started writing as a lyricist, really, and many of my poems are quite short, you know, A, B, A, B, A. I have deep admiration for poets and writers who spend many, many hours every day at the keyboard or the notebook. My process isn't quite like that. This poem, which is not in the book, is called Shopping for Poetry. The dress beckons from the window, an aquamarine with white polka dots. I have to have it. At home, I question why. The fit is poor, color unflattering. The shape reveals a lifetime's body dysmorphia. I rush back to excise it and spot a gorgeous fuchsia sweater, long and flowing, revealing the revealable, hiding what must be hidden. At home, I pair it with shapely black tights, sparkly bracelets, dangle earrings. My creation says yes. I love myself for an afternoon. This next poem is called Collections. And this is in the book. My collection of small pictures does nothing to postpone my death. though the trio of ivory teases. The smallest contains the soft accoutrement to a lonely cup of coffee. The medium embraces the creamy smoothness of hours spent with a friend or lover over tea for two. The largest explodes with tabletop festivity, splashes on banquettes, clothes, hastily noted phone numbers. My miniature willow commemorates a certain 7th Avenue barista, while a memory of Azuma and a lost friendship brim from the azure flowered. The gilt-edged hotel beige is product of Fish's Eddy or Pottery Barn, sober anniversary loot, or stolen from a restaurant during an elongated term of service. Autumn striped and signed ceramic, perfect fit for the carry-on back from Florence, streamlined, unlike the painted rosy confection pressed into the waving, tremulous hand of my great-grandmother by her waving, tremulous friend as she boarded from England to the New World. Sentinels, they perch on shelves, countertops, tables, trapped with matching sugar bowls in backlit china closets, maps of my universe, marks of significance and insignificance, informing the narrative. My collection of small pictures does nothing to postpone my death. This next poem is a pantoum, and that is a form of poetry that is far too complicated to try to explain, but you'll get the drift, I think. It's in the book, but I've actually changed the title. It used to be called My Mother's Drawer. It's now called My Mother's Vanity. I entered your room, though I was forbidden. Opened the magical drawer to solve the mystery, though I was forbidden. My eyes widened at the sight. I longed to solve the mystery, be privy to the secret. My eyes widened at the sight. Lipsticks, rouges, polishes, pencils of kohl. Privy to the secret, I swooned to mingling aromas. Lipsticks, rouges, polishes, pencils of kohl, all powdered with rosy dust. I swooned to mingling aromas, fragrance of you, powdered with rosy dust. I clumsily put on rouge, lipstick, fragrance of you. This is the me I will become. I clumsily put on rouge, lipstick, tissued telltale fingers. This is the me I will become. The me of you, tissued telltale fingers. Open the magical drawer. The me of you entered your room. So I feel like no set, particularly one this long, is complete without some kind of love poem. This is called Response to Elizabeth Bishop's The Art of Leaving. Losing happens easily, it's true. One moment out of mindfulness, what countless damage one can do. A mindless daydream trips you up and something that was there is gone. A family ring, a document, a scarf, a home, a friend. If one compiled a list of losses, the ticker tape would never end. The mind and heart may carry on, but some black mark remains to haunt, like sand inside a shoe. I only glanced away to count the stars, and when I looked around, there was no you. It is the strangest thing not to have an audience, not to, wow, it's so crazy. What a world we're living in, right? Oh my God. Okay, I'm going back to my mother for a moment. She died tragically in a fire, and one of the surviving artifacts is this once lovely Victorian music box. As a child, I used to go into her room and play this while I patted my cheeks with the softest of powder puffs. It inspired a poem, of course. My mother's music box after the fire. Talcum never tainted your milkweed puff, nor did the ash that trashed your rosy Victoriana skin, the thousand faces made, all looking like someone I wanted to be. Who chose the unidentified tune inside as you? So you're going to find out something about me this evening, which is that I write a lot of poems about sea creatures. I have no idea why, but I do. So sex, as I'm sure you realized, was about crabs. This poem is about lobsters. It's called The Lability of Lobsters. Lobsters possess serotonin, unlike the neurological spurts of joy that light up our human brains after a solid workout. The sea lobster neurotransmitters propel aggression. Lobsters fight mano a mano, claw to claw, spindly limbs tensed for balance, carapaces colliding. They box and batter, and as in all battles, someone wins and someone loses. The winner struts through lobster land, triumphant as Ali after Liston. Antennas sparkle with electrical volts of joyful neurotransmittance, while loser lobster, serotonin quashed forever, retreats in shame. No proper parenting or validation will bring him back to the ring. He will bottom feed for the duration. Serotonin makes lobster meat tough. We love to eat the losers. So as I said, I have this weird attraction for sea creatures. It has something to do, I mean, there are a number of reasons. For one thing, I love to eat seafood, but the other is that This is going to be a strange connection. When my daughter transitioned, I researched creatures, human and otherwise, who are gender fluid, and I wrote some short poems. Now, a long time ago, I did write for Sesame Street, and I couldn't decide if these poems that I wrote were for children or for adults. So I consulted with two old friends, Grover and Elmo, and they seem to think that these are suitable for adults. So I will read them to you. This first one is not part of the verses that I'm going to share with you, but it's called Transgendering. Caribbean indigo hamlets are simultaneous hermaphrodites, fish male and female in the same body, partners in a fertilization rite called egg trading. Male and female hamlets rendezvous at sunset, embrace on reefs called bedroom rocks. The couple, holding each other, rises up on a column of water. Atop the pinnacle they mate, he delivering sperm, she releasing eggs. Returning to their reef, presumably through post-orgasmic spray, they calmly switch gender roles, merge, surge heavenward in a joyous fountain of seawater, and spawn again. Their dance can be observed in shallow reefs of the Caribbean. No one asks them which sex they prefer or if they ever feel they are in the wrong body. If anyone did, perhaps they would respond, "Who cares? It's the embrace that counts." So these little verses are gender benders. 1. Clownfish hardly ever clown, nor do they keep their powder dry. Their hierarchical mode is strict. When mother dies, dad doesn't cry. Evolving in the empty space, maternal services he'll render. No kidding, he becomes the mom, an easy, natural transgender. 2, Australian cuttlefish. This is an Australian cuttlefish. Male cuttlefish compete. Their mating dance is quite a feat. The small ones take on female features to get next to the female creatures. One wonders if their visceral and beauteous disguise might be a ruse to cuddle with the other cuttle guys. 3, we've left the sea. The gifted bird. Some wily male marsh harriers can alter coloration. Gray feathers change to female brown, but does he lose his privileged station? Protected from competing males, his cross-dress is his sly disguise. Fooled females bring him home to nest. He flings the bird to normal guys. 4, crowning glory, Botswana lionesses. You guys didn't know these creatures were all transgender, did you? She lions sometimes grow fatigued with all those preening males, lolling with entitlement, flicking flies with languid tails. Some gals say, screw this gender thing. They grow a blonde, luxurious mane. I'll shake my booty in his face and drive his horny ass insane. 5. Monkey shines, red and olive colobus monkey. What babies have a cuter face or sport a more ingenious bottom? Thrown from their pod at tender age, the other males are quick to spot 'em, coerce them into puberty. They're bashful, just like you and me. Their anuses turn scarlet red, swell up, and mimic mama's nethers. The monkey dads become confused, and this distortion firmly tethers the baby to his mama's side, his gender misidentified. And finally, hyenas. Hyenas are not so attractive, but God knows they're sexually active. Their love life strikes havoc with Cupid and Venus, because Madam's vagina boasts testes and penis. Okay. Moving right along. So this poem is a sestina, which is another form. Poets know it, guests may not. It's basically a use of 6 words in a particular pattern. And this particular poem, I'm pleased to say, was picked up last week for publication in Tupelo Press's Corona anthology. Thank you, Barbara. It's called Sestina Ode to Zoom. At the piano, I played the concert. I wore latex gloves, smiled behind a mask. It scarcely seemed to be music. Unable to slow my tempo, zoom along, nurture my classical flower. Like lilacs that cannot flower, the resonance of the concerto seems a dissonance zooming, the thud made by a glove, an odd, muted music played by fingers in tiny masks. I long to rip away the masks, allow those notes to flower into glorious music, perform a true concert. I cannot do it in gloves. Let me try it in Zoom. The rectangles of Zoom offer faces with no masks, hands without gloves. They nurture Schubert's flower, raise a virtual concert into honest music. This freeing of music by the strangeness that is Zoom allows ecstatic concerts, offers artistry unmasked, opening like spring flowers I gather with no gardening gloves. Put on your ruby velvet gloves and enter the halls of music. Let your fantasies flower, your thoughts float and zoom toward a time without masks, when normal life plays like a concert. Throw off masks and gloves. Poetry, art, and music flower in the windows of Zoom. Okay, this poem is in the book. It's called Woman in the Moment. I watch as I wait for my latte. The lipstick slides across her mouth. A Barbie doll tennis match I follow, back and forth, mesmerized by her concentration.
Good.
The balanced compact, impeccable outlining, the practiced swivel of burnished tube, the protrusion of plum wax. The shine blinds. I am entranced. With focus like hers, we could effect world peace. Okay, there we go. Okay, this poem is called Coronavirus, 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 Coronavirus. Bat, gnat, lab coat rat, Wuhan clown, president face, stadium police, uniform blue, lies.
Hiss, hiss.
Ventilator, mouth, blood soaked.
Can't breathe.
Flood of mucus, dry cough.
We can't breathe.
Sing in apartments, touch through glass.
We can't breathe.
You neither. You masks, mask, crushed neck, bruised knee.
Virus are free.
Virus of light.
Change, change, change.
Blood-soaked lies. Mountain's majesty. Red swabs tell. Truth. Hack. President. Liar.
Ventilate.
Expostulate. No antibodies. Respirator.
Black lung die.
Prisoners.
I can't taste.
Bullet in back.
I can't breathe. We won't breathe.
Change matter.
Where's my mama?
A lonely lynched.
Burn lungs.
Burn, burn. Freedom, clear. Tears, breath, equality.
Breathe. Justice, recovery. Burn to breathe. And stop share.
Okay.
Stop share.
Okay. I just want to announce
Maggie,
that
what was the name? What was the name of that one?
coronavirus, 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 coronavirus.
Thank you very much.
You bet. That was Chip Williford, who was duetting with me. And Chip is the new host of Poetry Street. Now, a lot of you are familiar with Poetry Street. It was organized by poet Susan Dingle and Bubby Brown 7 years ago. We used to do it at the Blue Duck Bakery on Sundays. We are resuming on Zoom, of course. Next Sunday, the 29th, next Saturday, sorry, the last Saturday of every month from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, we will be there, Poetry Street on the Road. Our features for next week are Steve Kramer. And if you know Steve Kramer, you know you gotta come. And the beautiful, wonderfully talented Anastasia Tomkin, who read at the open mic a few weeks ago and is a friend of Chip's, and she is amazing. So I hope that you will all tune in. It is followed by an open mic, so everybody can have a chance to read. And one of the wonderful things about Poetry Street has always been that people come, they listen to the open mic, and then they come back with a poem, and they've never written a poem before, ever, ever, ever. And suddenly they're back every month, and they get better and better and better, and they come to love poetry. You know, I always, people say they don't like poetry. I think people who say that don't understand that basically poetry is song. Poetry is, you know, a concise, well, this sounds ridiculously pretentious, but a concise glimpse into the soul. But if you want to just be simple about it, it's a friggin' song. So if you like music, you're going to like poetry. So please come and experience Poetry Street with us next week. I co-host with Chip, and it's such a pleasure. And by the way, our mission, which is really important, is diversity. We always have a diverse group of poets, a diverse audience, and it's such a pleasure and such an honor to be part of it. So here we go. This next poem is in my book. It's the first poem in the book. It's called Thoughts During Insomnia in Florence. I hopscotched last on these cobblestones in spikes and mini dresses, long golden tresses, trailed by a succession of Davids who pinched and petted, followed me into bars, embraced me under stars on the Ponte Vecchio, begging me to never go, then broke my heart. Or was that art? Now, in Uggs and Nikes and far too many clothes, I read poetry, reflect on how history flows, an unfinished fresco, the signature my own, while David gazes past me, eyes blank as stone. And okay, I think I'm gonna finish with another poem. Well, no, actually, there are two more short poems that I'm gonna do. One is called Crossing the Panquag Bridge on the Way to an AA Meeting. He drives slowly over the blue panorama, savors the autumn air. A crackly leaf drifts through his truck window, tickles his cheek as he drives. Then a seagull crashes through the passenger side open window. Fighting for control, he straightens the steering wheel. The bird settles on the front seat. A sturdy wing grazes his shoulder like a lover's before the sail back out to freedom. Mindful of this miracle, as unlikely as this, his second chance at life, he weeps. And my final poem is in my book. It's called After the Biopsy. In the projection of my death, while I waited to learn I'm not dying, there were tons of flowers, hundreds of mourners, my ashes in a small but beautifully appointed container. Tears flowed, laughter was remembered, accomplishments were reiterated admiringly. And I was there, of course, enjoying it all. Thank you very much.
Maggie, that was absolutely incredible. And I think that you brought Zoom to the next level with your visuals. I haven't seen anyone do anything like that yet with the medium, so it's incredible. And of course, your poetry, the playfulness, but also the depth that's there. absolutely incredible. So I want everyone to unmute for a moment so we can give a big round of applause together.
Excellent, Maggie. Excellent.
Fabulous. It's a pleasure.
Fantastic, Maggie.
Great job, Maggie.
Really
Brilliant.
good. If we
Great
want to
job.
camera and share any thoughts or questions, or you could also type questions in the chat and I can read them to Maggie as well. I'm gonna hand over the spotlight if anyone wants to come on video.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Meryl.
So much fun. I loved it. Thank
My
you.
yoga instructor.
Will you be sending out an email about the Poetry Street? Because I don't want to miss it.
Absolutely. Yes, I will.
Okay. Send me
Yes.
one.
Yes,
Thank
yes. I send out these global emails. People probably look and see my name and run screaming, but I will continue to do it.
Okay. Well, I want to come. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
We also have a link to the website for Poetry Street in the chat too.
Yeah.
If you want to check that out. Got a lot of links in there. And Maggie, you have so many amazing comments in the comment section. I just want you to know, I know it's a lot to read through now, but you can save that chat to read it. I'll show you how afterwards. But yeah, if anyone wants to come on video, I see you, Susan. Hi, Susan Dingle is with us.
Yes,
Creator of
she
Poetry
is.
Street. Good to see you, Susan.
Oh, yeah. On poetrystreetontheroad.com.
That's right.
We're just so excited that Poetry Street has come into this new medium, and Maggie and Chip are taking it to this new level on Zoom. It is now becoming a national thing, and we've had people from all different states across the country be on Poetry Street, and that's a new aspect, and so awesome. Thank you, Maggie and Chip, for making that happen.
You bet.
Thank you.
Yes, and it's so nice having Chip with us too, because he helped make that a collaborative poem possible.
Yes.
So that's amazing too. And Susan, it's so great to see you. We have to have you do a reading with us very soon. We've been talking and talking about it.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's the same for Maggie. It's always
Soon,
on the planet. Yes.
Any other questions or comments or thumbs down or anything?
Well, I just want to acknowledge you for being able to combine a very, very delicate lyric sensibility with a kind of realistic and very truthful sense of humor, which is really kind of an amazing combination. And it's really great to hear your work, of course.
Thank you. She's my best friend.
You paid me. No. Yes.
Well, one of 35 this
Right.
evening.
Yes. Best friends of Maggie is a thing.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to say, Maggie, you know, I'm just blown away by your work. And I'm so happy to hear some new poetry tonight that I hadn't heard. Can't wait to get your book. I think I got it already. Not the new one, but the old one. Yeah.
I think you
Anyway.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't read it all, but I will tonight. It's just wonderful to see you and to hear you. And I just, you know, at one point I said, it's like another Ogden Nash at some point, you know. It reminded me so much. But of course, I mean, much more poignant and much more beautiful. I just love you, Maggie. That's all.
It's a lot like catching up with you, reading your poems. Now I've got, you know, your whole history here.
No, you've got the
this little book.
perspective.
Yeah.
Sally was one of my college roommates.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a while. And I just love that you're not tied into any particular style. I mean, looking at the book, every page is some fanciful way of expressing a poem. And I just thought that was really fun to read as well.
Thank you so much.
And good to hear them.
Yeah.
Oops, there's my
I
cat.
have 2 college roommates here. How amazing is that? Whoa.
Well, Maggie, I really, really enjoyed tonight immensely. And your poem Sex, I always adored. But because I may be the only person in this group tonight who has all my degrees in biology, I sure learned a lot. Great fun. It's all the embrace. I'm embracing the embrace.
It's funny.
Thank you.
It's great.
Thank you, Maggie.
Maggie, you are just incredible. And thank you so much for sharing your beautiful poetry. I'm so glad that you had the photo of the coronavirus up because I missed a couple lines. Sorry about that. I love you, love you, love you, and love your poetry and love your book.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you, and thank you for participating. We experimented many ways doing this poem with, and actually with a lot of different people.
It was great. The collaboration really worked, and it was a big surprise. Like, where is that coming from? And it really worked. Really great tonight.
And I love, Maggie, your sense of sonics, and it reminded me of the Sesame Street sonics in Corona, 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 Corona. You know, that wonderful connectedness, that puzzle that makes you want to go to the next thing with your ear. It's just wonderful. And your poetry is, well, of course, you know, I've always felt that way, but what a wonderful evening to be able to see and hear your work again, and to appreciate it in our own homes where we could sit with our feet up on our beds in our pajamas.
Yeah, really.
I don't want to say it, but that's what I'm in, which is why you guys going to see it, because I don't want you to faint. Anyway, so love you. Wonderful, wonderful reading, and wow, lucky for us. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Gladys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Maggie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
Diane,
you.
thank you.
Yes, sweetheart.
It was wonderful. Thank you again, Maggie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Oh,
Bye.
Going.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I see a furry fan.
yes, right. William was here the whole time listening. He loved it. He's a poetry fan now. Bye-bye.
It was perfect.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
That cat.
Okay.
All right. Thank you
Well,
so much.
I can't thank you enough, all of you, and Caitlin especially. And again, it was an honor to play this theater.
We have the best seats in the house.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? Yeah.
We do. We do.
Yes, we get to
Okay.
come into people's homes.
Yes,
Very
really.
different experience. Yeah. It's amazing. And we have great recordings too. So
That's right.
that'll be great too. You can watch us again. I know the first time hearing everything, you don't always take everything in. So it's nice to be able to go back.
Yes.
Definitely check that out. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here too. It's so great to see all of you. And remember, we have a lot of events coming up, so please keep checking those out. And again, thank you so much, Maggie. It's so wonderful having you with us, really. Finally. We've been planning it for a long time. But
Thank you.
Thank
Caitlin.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Maggie. Thanks, Cookie.
have a wonderful night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great evening.
Night, Chip.